Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. Meow. Today, we're talking all about your moon sign in your chart, and this is actually a Q&A series. I had a question come in from Kima, so Kima, if you're watching, thank you so much for your question, so we can dive into this. But the question was, Tanya, I've heard you talk about how in some forms of astrology, like ancient astrology, the moon sign in the chart is actually considered to be more important than the sun sign. Why is that? Can we talk more about that? And how do I personally understand the moon in my chart a little more? And so I'm so happy to answer this question. If you have a question about astrology that you want answered, just put a comment down below because I want to continue this Q&A series. So put that down below, okay? But let's get into it. So I'm coming to you from the river. If you can see that. This is what I'm looking at as we're talking, okay? It's beautiful, right? But in honor of the moon goddess, because the moon is the divine feminine, and the moon rules the tides. She rules all of this. Water everywhere. All of this. Life, right? Because life is water. Water is life, y'all. So this is a good question. Why is the moon more important than the sun in many forms of astrology, specifically ancient astrology? Why is that so significant? Well, it's significant, friend, because when you compare the moon and the sun and the ascendant, the moon is the deepest symbol of the soul, and the sun is the deepest symbol of the consciousness within this lifetime that you represent. It's almost like your personal fragment or energy pathway to the divine is the sun, okay? But the moon is symbolic in ancient astrology of where the soul is in its karmic experience of life. Where is the soul in their incarnation cycle in terms of the soul's consciousness, almost like the soul's essence, right? So the soul in terms of ancient astrology is so much deeper than anything in the chart, and I just want to be really clear about that because sometimes I feel like it gets misrepresented, but the soul, even by ancient standards, is so much deeper and unfathomably richer than any chart could ever symbolize because it's part of this divine essence that can't be created nor destroyed, right? That's the depth of the soul. But when you're talking about in astrology what the moon signifies the deep internal state of your energy. Where is your energy in the progression of lifetimes? Where is your energy most anchored? Your energy, right? I keep using that word because the moon rules energy. It rules emotions, emotion, energy in motion, emotion, right? So the moon rules the tides. It rules the flow of water in one's life, and it can even control the waters within one's body. That's why people react differently under a full moon, you feel? But point being, the moon is our literally the point that you see in the chart that is your moon. It's the point that your soul has incarnated to feel most at home and of that energy. So if your moon's in Taurus, you're most of and in the element of earth. You're most of and in the stage of being rooted and fixed as a soul, because Taurus is fixed earth, and then you see how that all pieces together there. So again, astrology is all about connecting the dots. So again, it's also your emotional response to things and how people know you at the most deep of level. So when you say, to an ancient astrologer, to an astrologer today who's practicing ancient astrology, why is the moon considered more significant than the sun? Well, the simple answer to that is that the sun is just who you think you are. The sun is just the information that you have access to at a conscious, brainy, articulative level. The moon is what you have access to at a level of not even needing to try, because the moon is so much deeper than anything that could possibly be of the brain. The moon is the subconscious. The moon is what's the current beneath your existence. What's the current or the stage, if you've seen my other videos where I heard an astrologer once say, and I've taken that metaphor and run with it, that the moon is like the stage that you're born into, the environment around you that you're born into in this lifetime. And the sun is the plot. It's what happens. It's who is around you and what's actually going on in that process of the environment that you're in. So the moon is the foundation in a lot of ways when you look at a chart. And by that I mean it's the foundation of the soul's experience. It's more important by some standards than the ascendant, because that's everything you do out there in the physical world, which is a big freaking deal, right? That's why that's the trifecta: ascendant, sun, and moon. But in ancient astrology, if you want to understand the person who's coming to you for clarity, for support, for questioning, for counseling, okay, you want to understand their moon. Because once that person, the native who's coming to you, the person understands their moon, you watching this, once you understand your moon, then you understand a deeper level of your own soul's experience. So say your moon's in a fire sign, your soul's most identified, like mine is, most identifies with the element of fire. At this point in my incarnation as a soul, I most understand and am and feel embodied as a soul being, the element of fire, passion, right? Energy, divine passion. But in an earth sign, it's going to be divine earthliness and the physical, tangible realities that we all deal with in the third dimension, whether that's literally like this beautiful, gorgeous earth that you see around me here today, or if that's going to be more like monetary, resource-based things, and or, right, I shouldn't say or, and or, more tangible things that you need to live, like food and the physical treasure chest that this planet in this lifetime offers us to access. If your moon's in an air sign, you're going to value and identify with most as a soul intellect and being social with people. The notion of engagement, okay, and exchange is vital to an air sign moon placement. The notion of exchange, give and take, reciprocity, right, and changing through the exchange of information is very important. Information is really kind of who you identify or what you identify with most as a soul at the deepest level, not your conscious level, as a soul, okay? Now moving along to like if your moon is in a water sign, well then congratulations, because it's considered more or less happy, unless it's in Scorpio. It's considered happy in, you know, Cancer, obviously, because it rules Cancer, or Pisces. Pisces and Scorpio each possess their own challenges in terms of moon placement, but this video isn't about that. It's about the element. So if your moon's in the water sign, then you have this identity at a soul level, or your emotional being, your kind of like facet of divinity is symbolized through your experience to emotion and to feeling and to being able to connect with others at that level of emotion. But more than anything, it's about the feeling and oftentimes the expression of that feeling. When you have moon in a water sign, you're usually very creative. I've never actually met a water moon person who wasn't in some way, shape, or form like deeply creative in some way. And that's just part of that energy, is that it's flowing. It's with the energy of the water. It's the tides if you have a water moon, right? It's all about accessing that element of fluidity, and within that element of water there are depths, there are deep depths, and there are currents that change, and that is to represent the emotion, because emotion is not stagnant. Energy in motion. You never feel something for your entire life without feeling other things or other ways about that, right? It's fluid. So that is the moon in a water sign, which in Cancer it's at home. And that's why the moon represents this fluid nature and emotional state within us, right, as conscious beings. So I hope that this short little video has provided you content. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. Why aren't you subscribed? Subscribe! And like this video if it brought you some content. And again, this is a Q&A series, so please do put a comment down below. And if anything wasn't clear, or you feel we need to go over something better and this didn't fully answer a question, then please put that down below as well. And if you want a reading from me, I am available for those, so just go ahead and DM me if you're on the Instagram or on the YouTube, anytime, anywhere. Just email me at WizdomDropz, that's all Z's, at gmail.com, and I'll be sure to get to you with my current rates and specials. So with that said, greetings, Earthlings, peace, Earthlings, and I hope that this video finds you well and at peace. And with that said, may the stars be with you, not against you, with you. Peace.